Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm back today with some major updates on the PPP program running out of funding. The big question that came up over the last 2 days was, did it truly run out of funding? I'm going to address some insider information from the SBA and also talk about where all the funding actually went. We're going to talk about what Congress is going to do next, whether they're going to support additional funds, hashtag retro PPP. So much happening for the PPP program. So share this video with everybody that you know that's inside the PPP program, whether they've been funded or they're waiting in the queue or waiting for the draw number 2, because there's a lot of great information contained inside. I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions, so let's get you all caught up. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Edward Bilder. Thank you so much for joining me for another video today. I want to discuss the PPP program running out of funding, okay, because there's a lot of confusion out there happening, and today is definitely going to be a 2-video day because EIDL, I have a ton to report out on EIDL as well. So tune back in here later at about 4 o'clock because I will have a EIDL update as well. But the PPP program is such a hot topic, running out of funding. I felt that it was urgent that I need to get these videos out for you guys to answer a lot of frequently asked questions, because as early as Tuesday evening, this hit headline news that the PPP program ran out of funding, and everybody out there is scratching their head saying, what the heck happened? I was even scratching my head saying, what the heck happened? Because I track data here on the channel week after week of the reports from the SBA. I'm also going to answer some frequently asked questions that happen here a lot on the channel. I want to cover the CDFIs, where you could possibly get yourself a piece of the $8 billion that is still sitting out there available for new loan applicants. And I want to talk about the ton of confusion that's going on with the fintechs declaring that they can get you CDFI funding. We're going to clear that up as well because a lot of misinformation happening out there, and I want you to get all the news right here. Last, I'm going to discuss what Congress can potentially do next, whether they're going to get us that hashtag retro PPP or more funding. We're going to answer all those right here today, so let's dive in. So I want to lead off here by talking about where I gain all of my information from, okay? Because yes, I have sources at the SBA. I have some pretty big sources at the SBA. I have some pretty big sources through the fintechs, all right? But I don't always report the facts based on what they're telling me, okay? And you could understand this here for a minute. A fintech has some commercial interest out there, so they're going to only release certain information. I mean, they all know I have a YouTube channel, okay? So whatever they tell me, they want me to then parrot back to you because it could support some interest of theirs, right? So I hope that makes sense, right? And of course, the SBA, being a federally funded program, they can only release certain PR information. So they're not going to always release all of the golden nuggets, all the big secrets that are out there, okay? So just keep that in mind, all right? The majority of the information that I report out here on the channel comes from all of the viewers, all right? When I tell you, I've had to actually shut off my notifications on my phone for Instagram because it chimes all day and it vibrates all day. I had to plug it in for the entire day for the 1,000 or so messages that I receive each and every day. It never stops. It just keeps going all day and all day, all day, okay? I sort through all that information and I build statistics on some of the golden nuggets that I hear repeating over and over again. And once I hear that information, then I have enough confidence to say this is happening to the masses of people out there that are being affected by this scenario, okay? And then I report it to all of you so that you know not to create that same situation or get yourself stuck in that same mistake or same error. All right, so if there's ever a time that you wanted to say thank you, now's probably the time that I've explained to you what I do each and every day. Smack the old like button. It's probably the best way that you could say thank you for the channel here, okay? And keep the comments coming, okay? I do appreciate getting all that feedback every day on the channel and on my Instagram. So keep your comments coming, all right? They even though I don't get to respond to every single one of them, I do look at all of them, all right? Just keep that in mind, okay? So I want to get into answering some big question, and the biggest question I hear is whether or not you're safe if you're already in the queue. If you already had your application submitted, are you safe or are you not safe, okay? Because there's a lot of mixed information happening out there, a lot of mixed signals happening out there. And it all centers around this $29 billion that's left, all right? Now that $29 billion, we're actually going to slash that in half. We're going to only call it $15 billion that's left because approximately $15 billion is going out to bank and lender fees. It's all part of that. It's all part of that total cost, okay? So let's just take out $15 billion. Let's say there's $15 billion left. And then let's say $8 billion is directed over to the CDFIs. We're going to talk specifically on the CDFIs coming up next here. And I pointed out yesterday that there was like $111 billion left over from last year. Big question mark on where that money is, okay? I don't know where it is. we could dig deep on that, but I don't know that we're going to find that $111 billion. Okay. Now, to everybody asking if they're safe, if they've already applied, they're already in the queue, they're already in the system, are they safe and are they going to get a loan? Have they only stopped this for new applicants? And the answer is no, you're not necessarily safe. All right. Now, there are reports out there suggesting that there is $6 billion reserved, approximately like 100,000 loans that are possibly safe if they've gone and already signed their promissory note. However, I would not take that as the official final answer yet, because the feedback is coming in from all of the viewers on my Instagram, and I'm talking by the hundreds here, telling me that their loans are being canceled, and it's even happening if they've signed their promissory note. It's happening even after they've had their PLP numbers assigned. Loans are being canceled that are sitting in reviews. Okay, so don't necessarily go out there and believe right now that just because you're submitted and just because somebody on a YouTube channel is telling you that you're safe, you may not necessarily be officially safe. Okay, so the best way to find out and determine if you really are safe is by reaching out to your lender. Okay, if you went through a fintech, reach out to that fintech. Or if you went to a local branch, reach out to the local branch, because they're going to know where you are specifically in the SBA status, and they'll be able to report that back to you, letting you know whether you're safe or not safe. Okay, I want to talk about the $8 billion that is sitting out there in the CDFI funds, and I want to talk about what Blue Acorn and Wampley's position is right now, because they're boasting that they can still get you a piece of that $8 billion. If you go out to Blue Acorn right now, they're saying, don't worry, there's still $8 billion sitting over here in CDFI. We can get you that, all right? Now, I don't 100% believe and trust what the fintechs are officially announcing right now, okay? And I'm going to explain why in just a second here. But Wampley has already gone out and sent notifications to borrowers and applicants that, you know, the funding has run out and I'm sorry, we can't process your application at this time, okay? Now, Blue Acorn has not taken that position yet. They are still taking new applicants, all right? And they're boasting that there's $8 billion sitting in CDFI. Well, that $8 billion is not exclusive to Wampley. It's not exclusive to Bluevine. It's exclusive to the CDFIs, okay? It was reserved by Congress specifically to service low-income communities and minorities, okay? So do not put all of your faith right now and all of your cards in one basket thinking that you could go out to a fintech, any fintech, I don't care which one it is, and that they're going to be able to get you a piece of that $8 billion, okay? It may not necessarily happen. The best way to do this, if you really want to take charge of this situation, is to you yourself go to the CDFI list. I've placed one in the description. You could basically do a lookup finder and find a local CDFI that's in your community. And you'll have to go to them and determine if they're willing to work with you to gain access to these funds. Okay, that's the biggest key here, because even though that the fintechs are saying we work with them, it doesn't necessarily mean that the CDFI is going to work back with them for all applicants. All right, that's key to this whole puzzle. All right, I mean, think about it for 1 second. How fair would it really be, all right, if you consider the intent of why they reserved $8 billion? It was reserved to give access to funding to low-income communities and minorities, all right? Congress did that specifically. So how fair would it really be for a high-income individual or business to go to a global fintech to gain access to funds that were specifically granted and reserved for low-income communities and minorities? It wouldn't be, right? It doesn't make any sense. So that's why I tell you to be cautious listening to what some other channels are telling you or what some other publications are telling you from these fintechs, because they don't necessarily always have your best interest in mind, okay? They're definitely still trying to service their own businesses here, especially the fintechs. They're trying to boast that they have the most granted PPP loans out there, okay? So the best way to get it done is to go to the description and check the CDFI list, all right? Now, also while you're in the description, I just want to plug my Airbnb crash course really quick here, because part of the reason why I put all these videos out is because I have my own sponsorship. So in the description right now, you could check out my Airbnb crash course, get into the game with $50 in your pocket, earning an extra $5,000 to $10,000 each and every month. I also have a whole section up there on free stuff. You could get yourself free crypto, free stocks, and free sign-on bonuses. So I particularly like Webull because every month I get about $2,000 worth of free stocks from Webull just through their investing platform by recommending my friends on Facebook. And I actually won this here, okay? Some free stocks, some micro stocks just yesterday. So what could possibly happen next from Congress? Okay, I'm going to go over a couple scenarios here because right now the White House and Congress, they're like shocked. They're shocked. They're saying, I thought we had $30 billion left and I thought we were going to reach the end of this deadline and we're just going to be like, it's done. We made it, right? We totally made it. Check the box. Good job, everybody. We knew exactly how much money needed to be in there and we made it. All right. So couple scenarios could happen here. It's going to beg the question to know if they're going to simply refund the program, all right? Because one thing they can do is they can simply send another $300 billion over there, just like they did in 2020. In 2020, they sent an additional $320 billion after sending $349 billion over there the first time. So they could repeat that situation for 2021, realizing and understanding that we're still kind of in this pandemic situation, right? So possibly maybe another $300 billion will go over to the fund, okay? Now they may say, there's another scenario that could happen. They may simply say, hey, SBA, tell me how many loans that you think are still out there in the queue, add up all that money, and tell me how much money you need in addition. So they may take that approach, okay? And they may only service currently active loans and no new applicants. So maybe that number is, I don't know, $100 billion. Maybe the SBA says, we just need $100 billion to service everybody out there sitting and waiting. And it should get us to June 30th, and then we'll be done. We'll say we're done at that point, all right? So that's another possibility and scenario. Another situation that could happen, I mean, there's a lot of fraud out there happening, tons and tons of fraud. Facebook scams just telling you, hey, give me $300 and I'll create a fake business for you. All right, no, FBI, don't come after me. I'm not actually doing that, okay? But there's Facebook scams out there happening where they're like, send me $300 and we will create a fake business for you, and we'll get you a PPP loan forgiven, free, right? Free money, all right? There's tons of that happening out there. I mean, that could be worth like $1 billion of fraud that's just happened thus far, all right? Totally gross, totally sick, and it's affecting good, honest businesses out there that truly need this fund, okay? So Congress may say, well, with all that fraud happening out there, too many people are taking advantage of this and like getting away with scams. We may only take a targeted approach here where they've reduced to a certain level. They could do that. They could take it as a targeted approach like they did in the EIDL world where they said, well, you need 50% reduction in your gross receipts, right? Something like that could happen and they could only service them in the future. Now, I hope that's not the case. I'm hoping that they say, let's reopen it for $300 billion and just open it up for everybody, all right? Now, one final point I will make here. Congress may also say, well, we have all those hashtag retroactive PPP out there that everybody who applied with net wanting to get gross, they couldn't go back and adjust it when the new rule changed. How much money is that worth? Maybe that's worth $100 billion. And then maybe Congress will say, all right, we'll send $100 billion over to the SBA to only service hashtag retroactive PPP, okay? All of these scenarios are possible. And believe me, I want to support the scenarios to get $300 billion out there and then hashtag retro PPP. So the only way to get this done is through all of your voices, all right? That's the most important key to this whole message because it's going to take all of you messaging and emailing your congressmen and women from your local state and also Ben Cardin, tag Ben Cardin and everything you could possibly tag him in, okay? Because it's going to take all of you to pressure Congress, ask them for additional funding to be sent over to the PPP program, and ask them for hashtag retroactive PPP for all of those applicants who were unfairly treated to get only their net when they could have qualified for their gross, all right? So it's going to take all of your support to get this done. Believe me, we could listen to what the SBA is telling us, we could listen to what the fintechs are telling us, but I'm telling you, it's the voices of all the people messaging me on my Instagram, it's the voices of all the people messaging me right here on this channel that's going to get this done, all right? Now, we did this in the EIDL realm. We got ourselves the reevaluation for all the wrongful denials that happened with the targeted advance grants. And we're going to do it right here with PPP, get ourselves a retroactive PPP and additional funding for this program. So let's start messaging our congressmen and women today. It's going to take all of us support. So I thank you all in advance for helping support all the small businesses out there who truly need assistance right now, all right? So thank you so much. If you need further assistance outside my free content found right here on YouTube, you can find me pinned in the top comment for a one-on-one consultation. Just click that old link and you can set up a phone call with me. I want you to totally avoid all of these scammers in the comments. There's tons of scam out there that are fake cloning my channel, fake cloning Jason's, fake cloning Max's channel, trying to convince you to go to WhatsApp, giving you text numbers, and sending you to Gmail accounts to try and get you set up for some scam, okay? So avoid all those. They are on all of the big channels for EIDL and PPP, all right? That's going to do it for today, folks. I wish you all the best, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.